no. I'm
Oh no, what do we do?
I'm not used to filming with people. Hello.
Hi guys.
Hello, look who's back.
We're
Forever.
back. Yes.
Forever.
There's no turning back now.
Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Kian and this is my boyfriend Kyle. I'm so excited to be making today's video because we're actually going to explain more in depth how we met and just our whole love story, I guess.
The creation.
Yeah, just the first 7 or 8 days of it, but kind of going more into detail. All right, so we're just going to start from the beginning. If you guys don't know, we met on a cruise ship in December. So basically we were both there for our friend's wedding, and I had no idea who Kyle was, never heard of him, but he was in our mutual friend group. The bride and groom had everybody meet at like 5 p.m. at a specific spot, and I got there and I was going to say hi to my friends, and my friend Rocky was talking to Kyle, so I went up to Rocky to say hi, and then he introduced himself. He was wearing a shirt that said "Prayer is a Lifestyle."
Favorite shirt?
Which definitely caught my attention. And I asked what they were talking about, and he said that they were talking about Jesus. And I was like, okay.
I love talks about Jesus.
Yeah.
And then walked away.
Yeah. Just felt like it wasn't my time, but he definitely caught my attention. I feel like in that moment, I just knew I was supposed to get to know you more or talk to you more. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I had no idea. Yeah. But I just felt like God was highlighting you, because I even like walked away to like, I think I walked to the edge of the boat just to like look over and look at the view. And I remember looking back to see if you guys were still talking, and you were. And this was like 45 minutes later, you were still talking. So I definitely had my eye on you in knowing that we were supposed to talk later. So I was kind of watching, but it just wasn't the opportunity yet.
Yeah, and it's funny because he highlighted you in that moment too. But I knew that was the conversation that I was supposed to be focusing on. Yeah. So I knew I'd see you again. You weren't going anywhere.
Yeah. So then we went to dinner, and I kind of like was looking at the tables to see if I could sit at a table with you, but I couldn't. I honestly don't think I remembered what you look like. So
it's not that memorable.
I ended up sitting at a different table, and then you ended up like doing rounds at the end, and you came and said hi. And then we all decided to go to this aqua show. Why don't you tell them about your experience at the aqua show?
Yeah, the aqua show. This is like one of my favorite moments. What happened was we talked very briefly at dinner, and then everybody started leaving. So we just kept walking to the show. We didn't really talk. I don't even think we were near each other really. Yeah. And when we got to the show, I veered off to get a drink, and everybody else just kept going down to get seats. And I just like feel like someone like touching my shoulder, or like you came up behind me. It was like a really like light touch. Yeah. And I turned around and I was just like, hey, and you literally just go, so I just want to let you know we're all the way down in the right-hand corner. There's so many people, I didn't want you to get lost. So like when you're ready, you know how to find us. And, like we have seats. Or you said something along those lines, and I was just like blown away because one, we don't really know each other. So the fact that you went out of your way to tell me that, and you even noticed that I veered off to do that, definitely like made me feel like special already, and made me like realize, I was like, I have friends that I've known my whole life that wouldn't do that. They would just go and sit down and like, I'm on my own. So the fact that you did that was just super special. And I was like, at that moment, I was like, there's something different about you. And I couldn't wait to find out. So I came down, I sat next to you, we watched the show, and then afterwards, if you don't know Kian personally, she gets very in the moment. So afterwards, everyone stands up and starts walking out, and like you're still like just looking around, taking it all in, and everybody just keeps walking, and she's like left behind. So there's now like, I don't know, like 20, 30 plus people in between us. So I got to the top, and I wanted to return the favor. So I stopped and I waited, everybody else kept walking, and then you came up, and that's when we got to initiate that conversation that initiated the rest of it, the beautiful relationship that we have now.
So then that night, everyone went to like the nightclub on the ship, and we weren't really talking either. I was kind of dancing. We were both doing our own thing, and eventually, I think I asked you to get me a water bottle, and then we started talking. And then I asked if you wanted to like go talk somewhere else.
Yeah.
So then we went and grabbed coffee, and we just talked until like 2 a.m.
Something like that.
About
at least.
it was all about Jesus. I
All
remember
about
that.
Jesus. Yep.
Yeah. So we were just like laughing, had a really enjoyable conversation. Can't really remember what we talked about.
The thing I remember the most, to be honest, was the chocolate cake, the oatmeal cookie, and the coffee. It was so good.
Of course.
But it was such an amazing conversation. It was really just like, I believe it was about just like our relationships with the Lord and opening up about our faith and just getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then after that, this was a big thing that stood out about you, is we got in the elevator and I could see you internally struggling, like you were gonna press the floor, like your floor,
My floor.
But then you're like, and then you pressed my floor, and then you walked me to my room, and I really appreciated that. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
And I wanted you
like
to, and I was paying attention to what you were doing. Because
Yeah.
if you wouldn't have, I would have been like, noted.
It was a battle. It was a battle.
So
Inside,
in
I'm
your
like,
head,
too soon.
You said too soon.
Yeah, I was like, no, like, I don't want to, like, scare her, push her away, make her think, like, I don't know. I just had, like, all these, like, lies from the enemy were, like, coming in. But, like, inside, like, my, like, my like, gentleman side of me was just like, no, like, of course, you're going to walk her to your room, or to her room, and, you know, you're going to be a gentleman.
Yeah.
So, like, it was, like, that battle, and then finally I just gave in. I was like, okay, forget about all the lies, all these thoughts. And yeah.
Press the button.
And then I remember I like kind of looked like, I don't think I looked at you right away. I was kind of like, okay, I did it. And then like I looked over at you and you were just like at peace with it. I was like, okay, we're good. I didn't want you to think like I was waiting for the response of like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
It would have been so embarrassing.
I'm so glad you walked me in my room. That was like, that's something I really wanted. And someone who's chivalrous, and just literally it takes 5 extra minutes out of your life, and it really goes a long way. Day 2. So we're on a cruise ship, so we don't have service. You didn't have an internet package. I did. We didn't get each other's numbers or anything, so we really didn't have any communication. Everyone was kind of just doing their own thing. You'd wake up, and so I didn't have like communication with anybody, so I just woke up and did my own thing, went out to the deck.
So we were sitting in the chairs, and then you like appeared, and you were like a little bit down, like far enough where you didn't see us, but like close enough where like we could literally just like talk to you, like yell at you, and you could hear us. And you were sitting there and you're just worshiping, like looking out, and I was like trying to keep it cool. I was like, okay, I can't be the one to bring her up, because then it's like, you know, they're gonna be like, wait, oh, there's something going on here. So like I waited, and then somebody else said, oh, I think that's Kian. I said, oh, really? But like I saw you, like the second like you stood there and sat down, I saw you. So this is like 5 minutes later. So then I think you got up and you started walking.
Yeah.
And then we called you over.
Yeah.
And then there happened to be a seat open next to me.
Yeah, was that planned?
No, it actually wasn't,
Okay.
but like God obviously had it all figured out. So
yeah, so then I ended up sitting next to you, and then he was reading his Bible, like, just out of a movie, this kid. He was reading his Bible, I had a book, and we were both just sitting next to each other reading. I eventually, like, started asking what he was talking about, and then we started talking about, like, a passage he was reading. That's the day I shared my testimony with you.
Right, yeah.
And you just had, you were just super supportive, and you were like,
I loved it.
You love my testimony.
It's so powerful.
And he was so
like,
encouraging. So
wow.
we talked a lot. We just basically talked the rest of the day until dinner. Then we went to a Mamma Mia show, which is so funny because I really wanted to go see the Mamma Mia play. And so a lot of people planned to go after dinner, but then everyone was like not about it. So everyone started leaving, but I really wanted to stay, and you were so nice and you stayed with me. And in that, I was like, oh, he cares. The fact that he's going to stay at this musical, and his friends are leaving.
Yeah.
So we ended up staying, watching the musical, and that really meant a lot to me that you were taking interest in what I wanted to do.
Of course.
Day three. I didn't see you till like 2.
Day 3.
2 p.m.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like walking around. Actually, you know what? I did see you.
Did you?
I don't think I told you this.
Were you creeping on me?
No.
What
So I was
happened?
laying out on the top deck, and I saw you coming up the stairs, I think.
Okay.
And you were walking up, and you were kind of like looking around. I don't think you were with anyone yet. I think you were kind of looking for...
I did my thing the whole morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I saw you, but I put my head down, or like I turned away. Like I wanted to hang out with you, but for some reason I just put my head down, but it was perfect because you didn't see me. Because I think if you would have saw me, you
I would have been sidetracked.
You would have came over.
Yeah, for sure.
But what ended up happening is you had a conversation with a Jehovah's Witness for like
2 hours.
2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So then I had no idea where he went, because then I ended up finding a bunch of other people and he wasn't there. And then you walked up later and just ecstatic about the conversation
So
you
lit.
just had.
Oh man, it was so good. That would really get your fire going. Go have like a conversation about Jesus with anybody, but like when you start to have it with Jehovah's Witness, like I love them, but like they're just like throw scripture at you and then like basically try to see like if you can understand it. More to yeah.
The giraffes, honey.
The giraffes are amazing. Oh Lord. Anyway, great time, great conversation.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I would love to hear more about it. We just don't have the time right now. The video's already 15 minutes.
You can edit that, right?
Yeah. But that was one thing that really stood out about you, was that you were doing and talking about Jesus not just around me, but around other people. Because I think a lot of people, you know, if they know you want a Christian, God-loving man, maybe when they're around you, they're talking all about Jesus. But as soon as they walk away, they're not doing anything, not representing Christ at all. And that was a tip someone once told me, is pay attention, like put yourself around them and pay attention to how they interact with other people, what they talk about to other people. And then we went on a secret mission. We just started being like kids, and everyone else was kind of like drinking and hanging out by the pool, and we just started like running around the ship. We ended up stumbling into this kids area, and all these little kids were making ships and doing like this competition. So I was like, let's do it. And we ended up sitting down. I'll insert the footage now.
This vessel of yours, Lord, we pray over it in Jesus' name. Let this boat stay afloat in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. You're crumbling.
Jesus, let us stand. This is your cross. On your cross we stand. Yes.
Stack it nicely, okay?
We built our ship, put like Jesus on it. He started praying over it. He made a cross.
It was epic.
It was really fun.
It was fun.
So they were actually shutting down, and then
Right.
the woman said we could stay and put the dominoes on our ship to see how many it would hold still. And then that's when Kyle started talking to her and asking her some questions.
Yeah. I mean, we were able to help her clean up, which is cool because it's not just about our words, but about our actions. You know, really representing Jesus in that way. So we were able to help clean up, and then through that, have a conversation with her about Jesus. Really just about like what she believes in her faith outside of that, and then from there, being able to share the gospel with her.
And that was more so what you did. I was kind of just a witness to all of this. You shared your testimony, you talked to her about Jesus, and then after that conversation, you like prayed for her. And for me, that was super out of the norm. I haven't really seen much evangelism.
At least street evangelism.
Yeah, street evangelism. So that was like, whoa, this guy is like unashamed, just cool with talking to strangers about Jesus. So I almost was a little bit intimidated by that because I'd never seen it before, and I was like, whoa, like I don't know if I could do that. But yeah, I didn't even have time to process, but definitely I feel like made me feel like insecure or just intimidated, I guess. But I also was like, wow, wow. I think that day at dinner, I wrote down that you like pulled out my chair. He was so chivalrous. It was awesome because we got to go to dinner every night, and he would always just be such a gentleman. Like, if I went to the bathroom, he waited for me to get back before he touched his food.
I love doing that, especially for you.
Yeah, day 4 was the day of the wedding. So we woke up early and decided to go on an adventure. So we went to a beach and we just like talked, got to know each other more. And then something that really stood out to me during that time was when we left, he stopped and he said, "Hey, I just really feel like I need to go pray for this woman's arm." And I was like, okay. And again, I have never seen anyone do something like this, but I was just loving it, just eating it up. So then he went up to this woman and he prayed for her.
Yeah, and then she literally just fell and broke that too. So she's wearing like a fresh cast and everything, and she just so just like so grateful.
Was there anything about that morning that stood out to you?
I mean, I think one of the biggest things that stood out to me was your questions.
Google.
Do you guys, this girl can ask questions. If you haven't
watched my video on how to make friends, this is where it all comes from.
Yeah, it's legit. So we went swimming, and we were in there for
probably
at least an hour. Yeah. And the whole time, it's just like consistent conversation, and like anytime, like, and I'm huge on conversation. Like, if we cannot have a good conversation and it can't flow, it's a concern. It's a concern. Yeah.
So then on this day, I had to go back to the ship and get ready for this wedding like super quick. I had to shower, blow dry my hair. We were running late because we ended up staying and talking to that couple. So I got into the shower and I just started crying. I just started bawling, and I just heard God say, think about your list. And I've talked about this before. I made a list of qualities that I wanted in a husband. And I said, are you sure? Like, really, that list? And he was like, yep. So I just started thinking about all the things on my list. I can't remember all of them because it's 3 pages. And
49 items. 49 items.
And I just started going through all the ones that I could remember. And I was just like, everyone was checked off. And I just was sobbing. And I got out of the shower.
Winning.
I got out of the shower and I remember feeling so grateful to just know you. Even if he's not my husband, I'm just so grateful that I got to meet you. So I know that there's men out there who like you, who exist. And it just really gave me hope. But in the same moment, I was not attached to you being my husband because, I just really, during out this whole trip, I kept praying for God to protect my heart. And he did. So I wasn't like even thinking anything would really come of this. But I was just grateful to know him. And I was just like, dang, whoever does marry you is going to be so blessed.
Aww.
So, but I didn't even have time. I had to pull myself together. And I was like, okay, reel me in, reel in the emotions. I got to go to this wedding. Where was your head at?
At this time, I was pretty much at the point of, this is somebody who's going to be a very close and special friend, or this was my wife. You know, it was like I was going back and forth, but I wasn't attached to it either. And I was kind of in the same boat of just like really grateful to get to meet you, to know you, to grow with you, just to, spend so much time glorifying the Lord with you. And like we were praying and reading the Bible and doing all that stuff. And I mean, I was just excited to see how this was going to unfold. I was like, 4 days left. Feels like it's been like 2 weeks already. So let's just play it out.
So then we went to the wedding. On the way there, he prayed for my motion sickness, which never returned.
Yeah, amen.
But it's just like little things like that were so thoughtful and God-centered that I had never seen before. Just praying over everything. Like I would have never thought to pray about my motion sickness, and he just like started praying in the middle of the bus ride.
So much power in prayer.
He was so chivalrous. And then we got to the wedding and he asked to take a picture with me.
I wanted one so bad.
That was so cute.
Yeah, I wanted one so bad, but same thing with like the elevator thing. I was just like, is that too much, too quick? It's like maybe she doesn't want one. And then I was like, no, lies go. Like, Let's do it.
Yeah, that was so
So when you
cute.
said yes, I had a little celebration inside. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad you did because it was really fun to like be able to document that stuff because I felt like it was gonna be important and I would want it documented. But also as a girl, I feel like I was not about to be like, will you take a picture with me?
Right.
So I'm really happy you initiated that.
Me too.
Realize that I forgot to include this amazing story. When we were at the wedding, it actually started pouring rain and everyone ran inside and Kyle stayed out there and literally started praying and rebuking the storm in Jesus' name. And it was the coolest thing ever just seeing how much faith he had. And within 15 minutes, the storm completely changed directions and the sun came out. It was my favorite part of this day for sure, and I had to make sure I included the story in the video. I would have been so sad if I forgot it. Look at that.
We're just baptizing the place.
Yeah.
That's it.
Blessing us with some holy water.
Just anointing it. That's right.
Wow. So then we went to the wedding, which was amazing. Went back to the ship. This was when we started talking about our feelings.
Yes.
We got back to the ship and we were watching the sunset.
Yes.
And at this point, we hadn't discussed like where we were at emotionally when it came to each other. We were just getting to know each other. So then you opened up that conversation.
Yes, I did. Oh, wow. That was the big brown, beautiful eyes, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't she have like the most beautiful eyes though?
Oh, thanks.
Trying to get this lighting.
Trying to get some lighting for you guys. It's so gloomy in Chicago.
How you doing?
I don't know.
Doing good?
Yeah,
You
we're
look
gonna
beautiful.
survive. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
I was talking to Jamie and he was basically calling it. He's like, oh, you're so in love. And I'm like, dude, I just met her. I don't. Like, I was just like really trying not to get attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
But like my feelings were like telling me otherwise. And I was just trying to like protect myself as well. So then we sat down and I felt like I just need to just talk to you about it. Just throw it out there. And like
You said you were planning to wait till the last day.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I was like, I can't now. Like, what if we're not on the same page and then we spend the rest of this trip just like, I'd just be embarrassed, you know?
Oh.
But God convicted me otherwise, and he's like, no, like now's the time. So yeah, we were sitting there and I started sharing with you how I felt,
I think
what I was feeling.
basically what we said was we both feel like something is happening.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly what it is.
But we knew there was
But we
something here
knew
that
some-
God brought us together.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of like what we came to the conclusion of through that conversation.
And then next thing you know, we're still having this conversation. Like, there's like 20 people around us.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere. And
we
we're
were
like
literally there alone when we started, and then it was the sunset, so everyone
Right.
started coming, and then we were literally surrounded. Everyone's there watching the sunset, and meanwhile, me and him are just like having this
heartfelt
intimate conversation about our feelings, and we're just surrounded by people all of a sudden.
And then when we came to a mutual understanding that we both had the same feelings and same convictions, that's when I came out with the big, brown, beautiful eyes. And like, there's this one guy like right next to us, and I heard him laughing, so I'm pretty sure he was laughing because he was hearing our conversation. But we didn't care, you know.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who came
Aw.
around or anything. We just kept, you know.
Yeah.
It felt like it was just us there.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
definitely did. It was just so funny.
Yeah, it was super
Because at one point I'm just like, look at all these people. I'm like, imagine them listening to this conversation and they just hear you say, you have the biggest brown, beautiful
eyes.
Like, seriously, so
Oh, so serious.
cheesy.
I loved it though. I love your eyes.
Not cheesy. It was
It
just
was a
like,
little cheesy.
if someone was
It was a little
if
cheesy.
someone was overhearing it, they'd be like, oh my goodness, this is like out of like a middle school romance. So then we went to the reception because there was a little bit of a break between.
Right.
And at this point they were doing speeches and the bride and groom had not done long distance, so that was brought up. And Kyle
yeah.
walks over to me and like whispers in my ear and he goes, see, it's not impossible.
Right, because we just talked about long distance.
Yeah.
That's so
Oh yeah, because that was a big thing.
That was a big thing.
Yeah, why don't you share about that?
Yeah, so like I always said I would never do long distance. Ever. Like no matter what.
I feel like you needed your hand just to get that point across.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Never.
Never. Like ever. And then when I met her, it like opened up my mind to it. I was like battling that too. I'm like, no, like this is not something that I could do or that I want to do. But then I look at you and like after getting to know you, I was like, but she's somebody that I could date and want to date. So how does this work, right? And so I was just sharing that with her as well, where I thought like I can never do it and I didn't want to do it. But then getting to know you, my mind started opening up to it, and like God just started like shedding that off of me, that fear off of me. So yeah, when we were there and they said that, I was like, oh, this is just too perfect.
I actually left after that because I started to get really overwhelmed.
Yep.
And I went to
watching you leave, and I like, should I follow or like? I held back. Yeah. I held back.
I went to the bathroom, and and I cried again. I knew I was like starting to like him, and like really, this is the first guy I was like genuinely interested in so long. So I started to get overwhelmed with just like fear, I think, of giving my heart to someone, just allowing someone in and who could potentially hurt me. So I just started getting so fearful, and I was just crying in the bathroom for probably like 5-6 minutes.
Felt like a lifetime. I was
really?
like, when's she getting back? Like, what is going on out there?
And then I just started praying, and I was like, God, I trust you. I surrender this. Like, just please give me peace. And then within a minute, it was like all gone. And then I got a really cool revelation about that later, which I'll probably just share that in a separate video, just about how our hearts are not meant to give to anybody else. So they're always supposed to stay with God. And that brought me so much peace. Okay, day 5. So day 5 was Puerto Rico. We went.
Okay. Yeah.
We went with a group of people. We ended up running into this woman who gave us a map of Puerto Rico and told us all these spots to hit. And me and him were like so down. We're let's hit it all. But everyone we were with kind of wasn't feeling it, so it kind of gave us an opportunity to separate ourselves and be alone. We banana split. So then we spent like the whole day running around Puerto Rico. That was the ice cream when you were singing at that little girl.
We can skip that.
Yeah, so many details we won't go into. That night we decided to do worship.
Yes, such a good night.
Yeah, we went to the back of the ship, and you actually fell asleep, so I'm not really sure what you said. That was a good night. You were sleeping.
Oh, well, only for the beginning.
For an hour.
Yeah. So I was just drained. I was so exhausted at this point.
You weren't
but like
sleeping very much.
No, not at all. I wasn't like sleeping at all. And but like all I want to do is just like spend more time with her. So I was like, she's like, you're tired, you should go to take a nap. And I was like, no, I'm fine. Like she knew I needed to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So then we go to worship, and I sit down in a chair, and like within how long?
Within the first song. I would say within the 5 minutes he was out. So I just kept worshiping on my own. No, I don't think you do snore. That was the night you asked me to be your girlfriend. So remember when I said day 4 was when we just started talking about our feelings? So day 5, the next day.
When you put it like that.
So the next day we went.
God's timing.
We went and got coffee. After dinner.
That's right.
And you were like really like just tired and just
very tired.
But then all of a sudden you're like, so, and then you like initiated this conversation that I was not expecting.
Yeah, when I start with so, you know something's coming.
Yeah. And what was going through your head? Did you know you were gonna ask me to be your girlfriend like all day?
It was another one of those things where it's like wait till the end, and then I was just convicted in the moment.
Where he was gonna wait to the end to ask me.
Yeah.
Like to the end of the trip.
To the end of the trip, right? And then I was just convicted. I'm like, well, then if I wait to the very end, I mean, we don't have that time to spend in between. I don't know. It just didn't feel right. It's like I feel like I'd only wait because I was scared. My head was going in like 12 different directions. You know, lies were coming in, questions, doubts, fears, like all this stuff. And the only thing I knew for sure was like, I was falling for this girl. Like that was the only thing I knew. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do this, Jesus. I know you got me. Like, and I remember I felt so awkward. Like asking you to be my girlfriend after like, this is what day 6,
5
day
days.
5. I haven't asked somebody to be my girlfriend in like the longest time, like years. So I was just like, when it like came out, like I felt like a child.
Yeah.
And I remember like, I think I was like leaning on you like this because I was so tired and like I didn't want to like look at her. So I think I was like this. And I was like, so.
That's exactly how it started.
Yep. And yeah, you know, I was like, well, I think I said something like, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it now, or something along those lines. And I was like, just like hesitating and like trying to delay it.
I was like, what is about to happen?
Yeah. And then I pretty much just said, will you be my girlfriend?
Yeah. You went into like long distance and you were talking about how, because the day before is when you were saying that's something you thought you never
That I never do.
So then today, on this day, you were saying how like you think you would really want to give, or you said, I would really like to try long distance with you. And then you kind of lead it into...
And that's when I said this, so if we're going to do it, you might as well do it now.
Yeah, and then you asked me to be your girlfriend.
Yes, I did. And then you responded with...
I said, I need to pray about it.
Yep. You're like,
Can I pray about it?
Can I pray about it? I was like, of course. Like, I love that too.
Yeah.
That was huge because it's like not jumping into things without taking it to the Lord first, you know? So the fact that you did that, I was like, yes, like perfect answer.
And then we get to day 6, but I actually think we should end the video here and we can do a part 2 of the last few days. So day 6 is like when I either say yes or no. What do you
Stay
say?
tuned.
Spoiler.
I don't know. Do you know?
What'll happen?
Who knows?
So you'll find out how I ended up responding to that. We go to the Bahamas and pray for healing over this woman.
Thought we were waiting.
I meet your parents. So there's still a lot more to... Oh, we say I love you.
Whoa.
We get revelation about husband.
We don't even
and
know
wife.
if you're going to say yes. What is going on?
I'm giving away too much, but there's a lot more to this story. There's a few more days left, so if you guys want a part 2, give this video a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments. But yeah, I feel like the story is a little bit too long to squeeze into here, and I have to go to work.
Yeah, it's only been like 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about our love story more. We will make another video if you guys want, explaining the rest, and I'm sure we'll be making a lot more, but we kind of wanted to give you a foundation, an explanation of everything.
Yeah.
Because now we'll be filming and around each other a lot more often. So if you see more of this kid,
stay tuned.
Hope you like his face. I do.
I was shaking my head. She wasn't even shaking it.
Oh, you just... I'm not abusive. Thanks.
Well,
are you gonna wrap it up?
I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. With that being said, stay tuned. Love you guys. Drop a comment, thumbs up, do your thing. Subscribe.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.